Hello mga kamomen! This is your single mommy, Angelisumaoy, and for today's video, I am going to show you my layover experience at Sydney, Australia. Sydney, Australia has such a cosmopolitan feel to it. The food is great and Australians are actually friendly. As it has been said, the best things about Sydney are free. The sunshine's free, the harbor's free, and the beach is free. And you know what, mga kamomen, one of the great things about Sydney is that it has a great acceptance of everyone and everything. It's an incredibly tolerant city, a city with a huge multicultural basis. To share with you mga kamomen, during our first month in Sydney, Australia, I was the second group to fly that destination, and I was really excited to fly in that beautiful country. It's just that I cannot locate the pictures and videos I had with that video, so I'm going to share to you now the clips, the pictures and the videos that I had during my layovers in Sydney. How would we describe Sydney, Australia? It is built on a low hill surrounding a huge harbour with innumerable bays and inlets. The city is dominated by the bulk of Sydney Harbour Bridge, one of the longest steel arch bridges in the world, and the Opera House, with its glittering white shell-shaped roofs that seem to echo the sails of many yachts. Sydney, Australia has nicknames. It includes Emerald City and the Harbour City. Why is Sydney so amazing? Why, mga kamomen? Why? Because there are islands, parks, reserves, and the wonderful Royal Botanic Gardens for nature lovers, lovely beaches, and pristine bays for sun seekers and water sports enthusiasts. Illustrious museums, world heritage sites, and historic landmarks for culture buffs, trendy restaurants by the water, vibrant nightlife, and a whole lot more.
Representing. Yes. Diba, Judes? Huh?
You'll know that one of the most popular creatures that we can see in Australia are kangaroos, and I'm glad I was able to feed them and see them close up. Shout out to my barkada Judes Gutierrez and his family for bringing me to a place where I was able to see wild kangaroos. They call it wild because we were not in a zoo, so they were just there in the forest and they can go come close to you and feed them. But yeah, I was little conscious and very cautious because they might box me or they might hit me. Yeah, you can see on those videos or some of my pictures that I was so afraid of them. We all know that kangaroos are close to being an endangered species, especially following the devastating and unprecedented bushfire season. And as a result, it is unlikely that kangaroos can be seen outside of captivity in and around Sydney. What is special about kangaroo? It is the only large animal to use hopping as its primary means of locomotion. A male kangaroo can leap to lengths of close to 30 feet and a height of up to 10 feet. It can reach speeds of up to 60 km per hour. And for the diet, the kangaroo is an herbivore, though its diet varies according to species. I have been around the beaches of Sydney, but I cannot find the pictures and videos. But yeah, I just want to share to you all that I've been to Bondi and Manly Beach, and thanks to my good friend Judes Gutierrez for bringing me out there. And yes, how many days enough to visit Sydney? Oh my god, it will take you months. But Sydney boasts a lot of attractions and fun things to do. No matter how long one stays in Sydney, there will always be new and fantastic adventures to meet. However, it is best to research all the sightseeing tour that you can in each day that you are in Sydney. I'm also grateful for the presence of my good friend from my LYKA, Ate Yvonne Cornejo, for doing city tour with me, discovered cities from new perspective. It allowed me to have an overview which includes the most emblematic places. And I've also discovered how to use their trains, their bus, and been to Sydney Central, and of course, who would miss the Upper House and Sydney Harbour Bridge. It's a year every November. A simple residential street on Sydney's North Shore becomes a major tourist attraction. Why? Because they have these Instagrammable lovely trees they call jacaranda trees. People stand, sit or lie in the road, phones in hand, and all because the street is lined with the gorgeous purple trees that flower right now, creating a fantastically picturesque jacaranda tree tunnel that's made for Instagram. However, it's a buwis buhay, or you really have to risk your life in taking or having a good photo because, as I've been said, it's on the road and there are cars passing through, so it makes it more challenging for you to get a good shot. So if anybody wants to find the best display of Sydney jacaranda trees, this is where to come. And I am so grateful to my good friend Judes Gutierrez and his lovely family for bringing me again to this wonderful site. After I have visited the jacaranda trees, it was also nice to see a good friend, Jane Te, who works at Sydney, Australia that day. Again, Jacaranda Street and the Jacaranda Tree Tunnel runs along MacDougall Street in Kirribilli on Sydney's North Shore. The easiest way to get there is to take train to Milsons Point and then walk north along Broughton Street. Follow the road round as it curves and MacDougall Street will be on your right. I think the best spot for pics is at the southern end of the road towards the waterfront. Went there were lots of people doing photo shoots, people sitting in the road, and even tour buses departing. Because I admit, it is super pretty, so I can see why. Jacaranda trees flower in Sydney just once a year between late October and during November. And while there are jacaranda trees and places to photograph them all over Sydney, one place has become the Instagram holy grail and the best place to see jacaranda in Sydney, and it's the Jacaranda Tree Tunnel in MacDougall Street, Kirribilli. There I have witnessed the flowery purple trees grow on both sides as more flowers appear. The branches from either side arc over the road to form what looks like a perfect purple tunnel. It's even better when the flowers fall as they carpet the ground with the purple as well. It's now popular that every day hundreds of people line the street trying to get that perfect Insta snap. And to get a good photo, this requires you standing in the middle of the road. You have to be very early, very lucky, or extremely good at Photoshop to get a picture without a car or another person in it. Our solution to this was simply to start taking pictures of other people posing. The residents are extremely patient with all this hoo-ha, but you need to keep your wits about you so no one runs over your foot. And also take a walk into the park next door. They said there's a bright tree, flowering tree, which makes a fantastic flowering contrast that demands to your lens attention. So if you visit Sydney, Australia between October to November, you have to see this famous attraction. When I flew Sunday in Sydney, Australia, I happened to visit the Hillsong Church. Hillsong, which describes itself as a contemporary Christian church, was founded in Australia in 1983. I'm a Roman Catholic, but I also love going to other churches. And Hillsong has a lot of music which I fell in love with. Song, which describes itself as a contemporary Christian church, was founded in Australia in 1983. Going to Hillsong Church is a moment of worship. Co-founder Brian Houston is actually one of the pastors in this church. Hillsong Church, commonly known as Hillsong, is a global charismatic Christian megachurch based in Australia. The church and its music have been highly successful globally. Another exciting tourist spot that I've been in this country is going to the grounds of Alexandria. It is a sprawling cafe, restaurant, bar, coffee, roastery, bakery, florist, market, and farm all in one, with so much on offer. It's the perfect place for a day out. It's all there is to see and do. Their 3 food and drink venues serve world-class food and are open throughout the day. Whenever you go to Sydney, Australia, it is best to explore the grounds of Alexandria. The grounds of Alexandria is one of the hottest cafe spots to experience and work out your taste buds in Sydney. Plus, it has an Instagrammable locations and spots that you can also have your pictorial. One who loves markets, cafes, flowers, coffee, pretty gardens, and just plain coolness will go gaga over the ultra stylist. The grounds of Alexandria, which is aptly located in the inner west, industrially Sydney suburb of Alexandria. All of the above, this urban sanctuary is Instagram cracked, as mentioned, which is exactly how I first discovered the place after visiting to Sydney. Beautiful pictures of baby's breath, artfully presented, delicious looking food, and brightly colored juices kept popping up in my IG feed. And with the grounds prompting me to go, where the F or these grounds, because I need to go there, so I did. Visiting the grounds of Alexandria, which even further back in the 1920s was an industrial present, feels like you've tumbled down the rabbit hole into a pretty playground of life's simplest pleasures. The acre of land is made of various old railway sheds, beautiful gardens, and things to see and do. Everywhere you look, there's some kind of historic touch woven into, whether it's old lamps, typewriters, or pickup trucks. Even the stable-themed bathrooms are worth a squeeze. There's also a bold italic underlined emphasis on sustainability throughout the property, with recycled jars, uses plant pots, and flower beds, making themselves at home in rusty wagons and typewriters. Blueberry on top is that the place is kid-friendly, dog-friendly, and husband-friendly, with amusement coming in form of coloring and paraphernalia, and small playground, a dog parking area, and a cute coffee carts handing out cups of tigery. The grounds of Alexandria, mga kamoment, is a destination. There's not else around to justify being the area unless you're into a factory outlet furniture shopping. Yet, there's a reason why it's always ridiculously popular on the most photographed food venue in Sydney. With its elegant fountains, ample photo opportunities, and just all-around stylish prettiness, you're guaranteed to have a major moment here. That's if you don't mind navigating crowds and the fact that there's more photo taking here than on the steps of the Sydney Opera House. eating steak in Sydney, Australia. Thanks to Ate Yvonne for that wonderful dinner I had. So no mga kamoment, Australia produces some of the highest quality beef in the world. Expect all flight attendants who goes here, it's steak. Next up I had in this layover went to rock formation in Sydney. I've also experienced rock formation in Sydney. The name itself came from the original buildings which were made of sandstone. When they're first established, the rocks harbored what might be termed low life and was basically somewhat squalid in nature. Sydney has a lot of rock formation. Actually, there were a lot of unusual rock formation around. So they have the Sydney sandstone. It's a common name for the Sydney Basin Hawkesbury sandstone, one variety of which is historically known as yellow block and also as yellow gold, a sedimentary rock named after the Hawkesbury River north of Sydney, where there this sandstone is particularly common. So what rocks are only found in Australia? Australia, with its long geological history, has some of the world's oldest rocks and minerals and a wide variety of gemstones. Australia is the world's biggest producer of diamonds and opals and major supplier of sapphire, ruby, emerald, garnet, topaz, and jade has also been mined in Australia. Why Sydney is called Basin? The basin is named for the city of Sydney on which it is centered. Around 5,000 meters or 6,000 feet thick, the Sydney Basin consists of Permian and Triassic sedimentary rocks, which stretches from the Newcastle in the north to Batemans Bay in south and west to Great Dividing Range. Those rocks in Sydney are used to the close proximity of the Circular Quay and the views of the iconic Harbour Bridge, as well as the historic nature of many of the buildings makes the rocks very popular with tourists. It features a variety of souvenir and craft shops as well as many themed and historic pubs. It has been a very amazing experience to witness the rock formations in Sydney, Australia. I had a short sightseeing cruising in Sydney where I happened to pass through Harbour Bridge and Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Harbour Bridge is a steel-through arch bridge in Sydney spanning Sydney Harbour from the central businesses district to the North Shore. This bridge famous, not only is it the largest steel arch bridge on the planet, but it also spans one of the globe's finest natural harbors. I have also experienced walking through the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and it took us like hours to do it. If you climb that bridge, your view will be the nearby Sydney Opera House, and also widely regarded as an iconic image of Sydney and of Australia itself. The Sydney Opera House is a multi-venue performing arts center in Sydney. It is located on the banks of Sydney Harbour and is widely regarded as one of the world's most famous and distinctive buildings and a masterpiece of 20th century architecture. And what is special about Opera House Sydney, mga kamoment? The Sydney Opera House is one of the most photographed buildings in the world, known for its unique use of a series of gleaming white sail-shaped shells as its roof structure. So the iconic performing arts facility is Sydney's best-known landmark. Sydney. It is an annual festival of light, music, and ideas, of course, held in Sydney, Australia. It includes outdoor immersive light, installations and projections, performances by local and international musicians, and an ideas exchange forum featuring public talks and debates with leading creative thinkers. An attraction as well, this annual festival of light, music, and ideas is a much-loved attraction for families and plenty of different visual displays and activities to enjoy. Of fun and interesting light installation to enjoy at Vivid Sydney. My layovers was also spent with Daphne Flores Lanzana and her family. So gave me a tour in the city of Sydney, and of course we ate, and the first thing that we did was to worship at Hillsong Church. My unforgettable moment in Sydney was to visit the Blue Mountains. What makes it exciting? I visited the place with our captain and my co-flight attendants. And the Blue Mountains get their name from the natural blue haze created by vast eucalypt forests in the World Heritage Area. I have witnessed the Three Sisters Rock Formation from the Echo Point Lookout at Katoomba. It's also the gateway to many walking trails. Droplets of oil released from the trees mix with water vapor and sunlight to produce the distinctive color. Marvel at this wilderness region from cliff-top lookouts. We explored waterfalls, valleys, and rugged sandstone tablelands and learned about the region's ancient Aboriginal heritage. There is exhilarating activities on offer in the mountains, from rock climbing and abseiling. Why is Blue Mountains in Sydney, Australia famous? The Blue Mountains is best known for its soaring sandstone ridges blanketed in native bushland, nestled with the wilderness-like charming mountain towns, ancient Aboriginal rock art, and the iconic tourist attraction of Scenic World. The unique peripheral urban fringe character, the Blue Mountains is considered by the state government to be part of the Greater Sydney metropolitan area. So Blue Mountains natural areas provide a significant recreation and tourism resource for Greater Sydney and the world. To get around the Blue Mountains without a car, take the train. That is the most convenient and hassle-free way to get to the Blue Mountains is via train. Where you arrive in the Blue Mountains, the more time you will have to explore at your own pace and see more. Cathedral, Sydney, is a cathedral church and a minor basilica of the Immaculate Mother of God, Hope of Christians, is a cathedral church of the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney and the seat of the Archbishop of Sydney. Mary's Cathedral is important because it is a site for being the first land granted to the Catholic Church in Australia. Being the site where Governor Macquarie laid the foundation stone of the first of St. Mary's, the cathedral site symbolizes the reconciliation of the Catholic Church and the Australian state. From shopping in Coles, Market City, eating steak, visited the famous the grounds of Alexandria, had a sightseeing and all rock formations, jacaranda trees, kangaroo, and all that stuff. I was also excited to visit the St. Mary Cathedral in Sydney. St. Mary's Cathedral is free and open to public. And once again, thank you so much, Sydney, Australia, for the moments I had with this beautiful country. And shout out to my Brigada for Life, Jutes Gutierrez, and loving wife, Kathy, and the baby Zach. The Gutierrez family for always touring me, for always being with me, eating out, and exploring the city most of the time during my layover. And shout out to my good friend too from Mary Kay, to Yvonne, and nice to see other people there like Jane Te and the family, and to the rest of my Davao doctors, nurses, friends, and colleagues. And once again, thank you so much, Sydney, Australia, for the moments I had with this beautiful country. And shout out to my Brigada for Life, Jutes Gutierrez, and loving wife, Kathy, and the baby Zach. The Gutierrez family for always touring me, for always being with me, eating out, and exploring the city most of the time during my layover. And shout out to my good friend too from Mary Kay, Ate Yvonne, and nice to see other people there like Jane Te and the family, and to the rest of my Davao doctors, nurses, friends, and colleagues. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed my layover experience in Sydney, Australia. Once again, if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. You can also comment for any content you want me to feature. Check it out.